it is over to you.
Thank you, Professor Abu Sufyan. Respected President of Anjuman Islam, Dr. Zahir Kazi Sahab, who is presiding over this program for today, and today's most valued resource person, Dr. Suleiman Merchant sir. We wholeheartedly, on behalf of Anjuman Islam and Anjuman Islam's Kalseko Technical Campus, welcome to this most important webinar during the challenging times. So the title of this webinar, Vitamin D, the game changer for COVID-19 protection, in itself is a very interesting topic, and we received a lot of feedback before we could, arrange this program. So we welcome you, sir, wholeheartedly for this program, so that it will largely benefit all the participants who are attending on the Zoom platform, and there are many participants attending on YouTube live channel also. So we welcome you, sir, and without much ado, I request the organizer, as suggested by Dr. Suleiman Merchant, to take further proceedings. And in this program, even our Joint Secretary of Anjuman Islam, Advocate Akil Hafiz Sahib, has joined, and there are heads of institutions from other institutions of Anjuman Islam. So I welcome the entire fraternity of participants from Anjuman Islam to this program. Thank you very much. Over to Abu Sufyan.
Thank you, sir. So thank you, Director, sir, for giving opening remark and also briefing our participant on the importance of the webinar. Now, before starting actual session, I formally introduce Dr. Suleiman Merchant. Dr. Suleiman Merchant was a former Dean of Lokmanya Tilak Medical College and Sion Hospital, Mumbai. He is an internationally respected teacher and educator. He has written a chapter in numerous national and international books and has many patents to his credits. He is also a renowned motivational speaker and counselor. He is the brain behind the world's first community-beside suicide prevention workshop. He is also managing the different projects with high social impact, example, artificial intelligence in COVID care, including AI algorithm for Chess City and X-ray, the Million Mask Challenge, and many more. He has served the underprivileged for over 4 decades, and he is also a avid world traveler and nature photographer. With this brief introduction, on behalf of Anjuman Islam Kalseka Technical Campus, I welcome Dr. Suleiman Merchant and request him to start with session. Dr. Merchant, it is over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon to all the eminent professors and various heads of departments and all the other participants. Very happy. Assalamu alaikum, especially to Dr. Zahir Kazi, who's been a friend for over 40 years. Very nice to see you again, Dr. Kazi. It's been very nice of Anjuman Islam to arrange for this. It's a very vital thing, and thank Aslam Saab also for this kind gesture of arranging this. It's a very vital thing. It's a very holy month of Ramadan. Knowledge, and we will try to do that. This is not going to be restricted. It is mainly what a vitamin D, yes, but basically what the thing over here is a few other things which are also responsible for immunity. So we'll digress a bit. And one of my recent favorite workshops is on the universe and us, what God has given us and how to connect with the universe and gain things to improve ourselves as well as increase immunity. So without much fuss, we all are aware about the rapid spread of COVID-19 all over the world. There are graphs available. India is number 2 now. Nothing to be proud of, but that's mainly because of our population. So although basic guidelines on infection control are suggested, treatment has remained the best choice to avoid mortality. However, there's no treatment as such. And there are a few vaccines, but there's a lot of doubt in people's minds and not everybody's comfortable taking the vaccine. So I'll leave that aside. It's a separate chapter. Availability for all also is a question, and side effects are a damper for people. So on the one hand, there is a pandemic. And actually, if I can call it, it's a convergence of 2 pandemics. I'll elaborate on that later. The first pandemic is, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic all over the world. And the second pandemic, again, all over the world, is vitamin D deficiency. So the convergence of these 2 pandemics has resulted in even bigger problem. And what has happened now is it's been a year since this pandemic has gone on. So a lot of people are in pandemic fatigue. They're tired of waiting, tired of being careful. We are letting our guards down. There are the other extreme who are talking about mardangi, like, main mask nahi pehanta hu, mard hu. That's totally foolish. So that's another thing altogether. Pandemic denial is also setting in, that there's nothing like the pandemic. It's all a hoax. So considering all of that, if we focus on something which is simple and what can be helpful, it'll be nice. The numbers are increasing. We all know about that. Let's watch a few graphs over here to see. I'll just share the screen now, so if somebody can work on that. Along the way, you'll see beautiful pictures which I've taken, natural panoramas. I think Dr. Kazi is used to that, and Dr. Aslam Bhai also. Just to keep a little boredom away, these are amongst the most picturesque places in the world. God has blessed me with the luck to visit all of these places, and I like to shoot panoramas rather than plain pictures. So if anybody wants questions on that, we'll go to that later. Right now, let's start with the daily new confirmed cases. 2 months ago, India had confirmed 11,300 cases per day. May I confirm if everybody is able to share the screen or watch the screen?
Yes, sir. We are able to see it.
Okay, great. So a straight line on a logarithmic axis tells you that you're looking at an exponential growth, much, much faster than what people think. Actually, it's going up to 300,000 cases a day. The positive rate has also changed in the same period. A strongly rising positive rate tells us that the testing efforts are not keeping up with the size of the outbreak. So actually, statistically, we have many more cases than what are being seen. Therefore, all the more reason to be more careful. Not panicky, but careful. The COVID deaths in India have now surpassed the previous peak. This was the previous peak in last September. Right now, it's gone beyond that and shooting up. So again, one has to be very careful. Again, no panic, just care. Both confirmed cases and confirmed deaths are increasing at a rate of about 60% per week currently. The growth is at the left over here and the death rate is the right. Kind of matching over there. Obviously, death rate is lesser than the growth rate. So on April 2, the ratio between the confirmed cases to 2 cases was estimated to be about 20. That is 5% of cases only are being detected. If this is accurate, then the current number of infections in India is about 4.4 million per day. So this is like 20 times what is being shown. So again, no panic to be created, but again, awareness and care. What can we do about that? So basically, do we give up? No, by God's grace, we do have an option, and it's very, very cheap and very, very safe. Actually speaking, God has given this natural protection to us. See His grace. Like vitamin D is actually a pre-hormone made by the skin. We'll see a little side on that later. This converted by the body into a hormone, and God has given control of over 2,000 genes to vitamin D via vitamin D receptors, which are present in every nucleus of every cell of the body. So this is also called the sunshine vitamin. Therefore, some people have a misconception that Indians are getting enough sunshine and therefore don't require vitamin D. That is again not necessarily true. We'll come to that later and how. We used to be actually outdoors hunting, foraging, etc. There were barely any clothes on us. Now we have all moved indoors. Even if outdoors, we are clothed. So therefore, we are not getting sufficient vitamin D. The lockdown has only made it worse. Innate immunity has dropped as a result. And additionally, what we are seeing is, some of us may be aware, but I want to elaborate it further, microbiome, which is present in our gut and in many other systems, organs of our body. This consists of about 100 trillion microbes and possesses at least 100 times more genes, the microbiome that is, than present in the entire human genome. These microbes serve as a number of important functions, including producing additional energy, otherwise inaccessible to the host, by breaking down soluble fiber. For example, we were meat eaters, grass eaters, went to meat, so all of that. So that's another nice story, but God has given us enough things in the microbiome. And importantly, for immunity, these are assisting in the development of a mature immune system. And what has happened is rampant misuse of antibiotics has played havoc and destroyed this wonderful natural protection that we have. And therefore, I'd like to elaborate on this further. And therefore, antibiotics should be taken with precaution. Don't destroy your immunity with unnecessary antibiotics. It is well known that vitamin D can modulate both the innate and adaptive immune responses, and that vitamin D deficiency is associated with decreased immunity as well as an increased susceptibility to infection. So as mentioned earlier, this is actually a convergence of two pandemics, the COVID-19 pandemic and the vitamin D deficiency pandemic. This is all over the world, not just India. We'll come to some statistics later, but it's like this simple solutions never gel well with people. It is not just politicians who want to make money, but also people who think that something complex is required to solve a complex problem. However, human nature, for example, is that such simple solutions to complex issues. At one point of time, vitamin C was rampant. It was known, scurvy was very well known. And scurvy was very rampant, and vitamin C was the only thing required to cure this international scourge. Hand washing prior to baby delivery also was not very common. A lot of infants died till they understood just simple hand washing is good. Similarly, vitamin D is a very, very simple thing. We will elaborate on that in a while. Dr. Hugh Sinclair almost 100 years ago observed the deficiency of any nutrient which is essential for every tissue will eventually lead to abnormal function in every tissue. That is so incontrovertibly obvious that I am continually astonished it must be repeated and forcefully restated. Vitamin D receptors are present in each and every body cell nucleus. There must be a reason, right? And vitamin D controls over 5% of our genome. So it's really that important. It's less understood, but really very, very important to understand. How I got into this was a different, long story. But for evidence-based people who want evidences regarding this, last April, there was a physician named Alipio from the East who had a landmark article and removed all the doubts. This is last April, not this April. And that's where the whole journey started for pushing it a bit further. And in this, it was a very simple observation. He followed on 250 odd patients of SARS-CoV positive patients. And of them, he also studied the vitamin D levels and the clinical outcomes. He saw only mild COVID and severe COVID. And of the 49 patients who had mild COVID, 47 had normal vitamin D levels. Whereas conversely, only 2 of the 148 critical patients had normal vitamin D. That means that was the earliest observation that if your vitamin D is low, you will get not only COVID, but mostly severe COVID. And therefore, the ICU admission rates will go up. Now, a lot of articles have been written since then. A lot of stuff has happened. So I'll show you a few things briefly. We don't want to get too technical. But all the people who are following Dr. Anthony Fauci, the very visible face of COVID response in the US, he has publicly stated that he consumes 10 times the amount of vitamin D that the US National Institute of Health suggests. The National Institute of Health suggests pretty low doses, which is about just 1,000 international units. So 10,000 units is what Dr. Fauci is taking, which is good enough for an adult, but we have a shortcut for that. We'll discuss that in a while. The vitamin D receptor for people who are slightly technically oriented is a member of the nuclear receptor / steroid hormone superfamily. Being fat soluble, it can go across membranes into the nucleus too. And vitamin D through the VDR selectively runs the D3 hormone and controls expression of selected genes in target cells. It is the master key to your immune system, the master key. If you have mid-range vitamin D 20 to 40, you cannot get a cytokine storm. Actually, this has been raised now from 50 to 80. This is really vital because data shows what kills people in COVID is the cytokine storm. So if you have people in cytokine storm, I would advise giving them straight 6 lakh international units injection. If you don't want to go there, just keep your vitamin D level to 50 and 80. We'll come to how to do that. So therefore, one more point to address this is that 80% of hospital patients are vitamin D deficient and 96% of ICU patients are vitamin D deficient. This is worldwide study on COVID. And therefore, the best mask is a healthy immune system. I'll now try to briefly state the rationale, utility, and dosage of the game changer vitamin D. During my earlier research on TB, one of the most cited international articles on TB, I had found that vitamin D and excuse me, somebody interrupting this. Would you like to talk?
No, sir, it's all right. It was
Okay.
by mistake by some window.
No problem. We'll have the questions later, so don't worry. You can note them. I'll wait patiently and solve that out. No problem at all. And therefore, got me to recommending a particular dose, which we'll again discuss later. What kind of dose, how to take it, what are the shortcuts for that. But just for the benefit of people to convince them further, we are all aware that the coronavirus has these spike receptors on their head, which you've seen the diagram. And this spike protein helps it to enter the body cell using the ACE2 receptor. Not important for you to remember, but for only those who are technically inclined, the SARS-CoV-2 virus uses the spike proteins to get into our ACE2 cells. Our body has ACE2 cells in almost all parts of our body, but the vascular system, lungs, intestines, brain are the common areas which the COVID-19 affects because of this ACE2 receptors being predominant in them. Vitamin D blocks the virus's spike proteins from binding with the host cell ACE2 receptors. And this it does by boosting innate immune system and producing more cathelicidins and defensins. These are natural antivirals and antibacterials, which cover the spike proteins and prevent them from locking into the ACE2 receptors. It's like giving a little protection like an umbrella so that the virus cannot lock onto the ACE2 cell. It also reduces the complications of COVID. There are many benefits. I'll just elaborate few. Like vitamin D deficiency leads to overactivation of the renin-angiotensin system. All doctors on the panel who have some medical background would know about the renin-angiotensin system, which increases BP also. Now, this comes through ACE2. ACE2 converts angiotensin 2 into angiotensin 1. Don't worry about that, which is anti-inflammatory, anti-fibrotic, and vasodilative. Therefore, if you have more ACE2, the body will respond better to any infection, including COVID-19 specifically. And vitamin D deficiency causes a lack of this. So if you supplement that, your ACE2 goes up. It is actually a balance between what I call the accelerating system, which is the renin-angiotensin system, which is causing inflammation, causing fibrosis, causing vasoconstriction, and causing the cytokine storm, and the braking system, which is the ACE2 system, which counters the effect of the accelerating system and is anti-inflammatory, anti-fibrotic, and vasodilative. So basically, vitamin D is also a powerful epigenetic regulator of gene expression, affecting more than 2,000 genes. Epigenetics, just for one line, in 2 lines rather, is important. I just want to motivate somebody somewhere to get into this field. Students, all doctors should be aware. Epigenetics is that part of genetics which is now being taking the world by storm. It will take 10-20 years to establish, but to understand and to imagine God's grace, just one sentence of epigenetics or maybe 2. Epigenetics is actually the factor that controls the genetic expression. For example, if you have a piano, you cannot play the piano without the fingers. So genes are the piano and epigenetics are the factors that actually help express genes. Now, to give a classic example from nature, if you see alligator eggs, if the temperature in the environment is 0.1 degree higher, all of the offspring will be of a particular gender. So nature has such a fine balance. God has created such amazing control over genes. Epigenetics, therefore, is important. Vitamin D, coming back to why vitamin D and epigenetics, it is an epigenetic modulator. It downregulates the renin-angiotensin gene, therefore countering the acceleration, and it upregulates the ACE2 gene, therefore increasing ACE2 in the body. So it's a phenomenal way. People are using interleukin-6, which is for tocilizumab. Vitamin D has the same function for 50 rupees that costs thousands and thousands of rupees. So it's a very simple thing. It does exceptionally good work in all kinds of things, but in COVID, it is absolutely beneficial. It also regulates mitochondrial, respiratory, inflammatory, oxidative, and wider function. We all know, whoever's into health, that mitochondria are the powerhouses of our cells. Now, by regulating them, vitamin D gives us more power and more ability to control gene expression, things like that. So vitamin D biology is a mature, well-researched field dating back to 100 years. Doses and risks with clinical parameters are well established, well quantified. There are guidelines for intake, and therefore it is already established. Vitamin D deficiency is a medically accepted condition requiring treatment. Therefore, it is extremely safe to take. There is no downside to increasing vitamin D levels. It is considered safe to take oral vitamin D supplementations at up to 10,000 units per day for short periods for a normal, healthy adult. For somebody who's underweight, we'll have to cut that accordingly. And we'll come to the doses again a bit later. I think there are enough studies here. I don't think anybody is interested in me elaborating on studies. So what I will do is I'll try and just rush through a few slides over there and try to make a brief say for what is happening with COVID worldwide and why we should be taking vitamin D. So we go back to the presentation now. And before that, I'd like to digress a bit upon one of my favorite workshops, like I said, the universe and us, what God has done and how it can help us for immunity also. So I'll just take a few minutes. All the physicists over here could be excited by this also, and so does every common man. The universe has unlimited bounties. We are all connected at the macro level as well as the micro level, right down to the quantum realm, and possibly even smaller levels, including other dimensions. String theory or M theory says we are made up of vibrating strings. This is all energy, a part of the divine energy that flows through the cosmos. Frequency of our vibrations make everything happen or not. To put things in perspective, if anybody can see this red dot, is everybody able to see this red dot? This is a part, the overall picture is just a part of our universe. It's one of the superclusters of the universe. This is to show how insignificant we are, how gigantic the universe is, and anybody who has consideration for the Almighty would remember we are tiny, tiny specks, not even tiny specks in the universe. So leave everything to the Almighty, have faith in God, and you will be protected. That is the best protection for COVID or for anything else. But this whole heart-shaped thing over here is one of the superclusters, a galactic, one of the bigger ones, where this red dot is the Milky Way, which is our galaxy, not even our world. So can you imagine how big the universe is, how small we are? But again, everything is interconnected. You can see these filamentous structures, which is connecting all the galaxies, all the things in the universe. God has made a phenomenal connection for all of us, right from the quantum level to the macro level. Another point which all, Dr. Zahir Kazi, especially being a radiologist, would know that we are made up of water molecules. 60 to 80% of our body is made up of water. And we are all entangled at the quantum realm. Frequencies change the shape of structures. If I'll just briefly run the video, we'll just go through certain pictures. And therefore, our frequency, what frequency to catch on, is very important for our immunity. And spiritual frequency is one of the best frequencies. Whether you read any holy book, Quran particularly in Kirat, the vibration that comes out will settle a lot of things in our body and increase our immunity. There is a lot of things said here, but I'll just skip through that. We'll just look at the video over here quickly, how by vibrating, putting different frequencies on scattered material on a table, this person changes the shape of the structures being formed. So our cells are constantly, our strings of matter are constantly being changed according to the frequency that we allow it to enable. So if you look carefully at the shape being formed just by the frequency. So we have to remember that we are very, very frequency dependent. And there are many such things. I'll just skip this over here and go to this. These are the classic Chladni plates which show different forms being taken to the same matter by different frequencies. More interestingly, a water molecule after offering prayer. See the structure. These are electro-micro photographs of water molecules. Before offering a prayer, after offering a prayer, in gratitude, in sickness, in love and appreciation. So see how simple things God has given us. Just keep some water where you're praying, drink it after you pray. That will have some beneficial effect. This also will boost your immunity. We are no longer seeing this wonderful architecture on our planet. If you see this, you feel relaxed. If you see many churches of old have this, many mosques now are beginning to get that. Why do we feel relaxation? Because these are all higher frequencies with beautiful patterns that God has made. This pattern is copied. The church pattern, the stained glass is copied from nature, from this wonderful flower. So man has to go back towards nature, towards what God has creation to improve our health, improve our immunity. And lastly, while on this, for all of us who know, the earth is protected by its magnetic field. Mars, which is after Earth, further from the sun, is devoid of an atmosphere because of intense cosmic rays. God has protected us by giving this beautiful magnetic field. Similarly, our body has a magnetic field, and the magnetic field changes according to the frequency we emanate. If we are happy, if we are helping others, if we are doing any work, good work, it expands to almost 9 meters around us. And if we are sad, frustrated, angry, it drops down to 2 to 3 inches. And therefore, whoever is in a higher spiritual state, even while praying, not permanently also, will be increasing his magnetic field, protecting himself from various other things, including other negative energies, including health issues. So keep this in mind. We'll quickly go through roughly what is the frequency. If you just go quickly, the lowest frequency is shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear. And the highest frequency is enlightenment, of course, peace, joy, love, reason. And neutrality, courage. Even courage comes to 200 rather than acceptance. So if you have the courage to face a situation, that's very good. You are in a frequency which is 200, which is good. But if you accept the reason for which you have to face that, it goes higher. So this is a small thing. Since all of you all are professors, maybe you can pass this on to your students, and maybe you can help people lead a better life and improve their immunity by simple methods. If you go to this last slide in this particular context, this is the basic awesomeness starts here. Love, more love, feeling, helping others. And below that, you anger, hate, guilt, shame. You will be in more in matter, less of energy. If you go higher, you will be more in energy and the matter will matter less. So these are the elevated emotions. These are the survival emotions. Keep your emotions in elevated state. This is a pious month. If you can do this throughout the year, it's even better. While on this is pretty big. So I think how to do that, we can have a separate thing over here. But here I will like to repeat about the neurobiome. The functions of the neurobiome are different influences, metabolism, promotes skin health, digestion, protects against many things, and boosts immunity. We'll skip this now. And to get out of the confusion that we are, try to be in a better frequency, ask people to be in a higher frequency, and all of your students, friends, relatives can boost their immunity in that manner too. Now, who all can benefit from vitamin D? Actually, everybody can benefit from vitamin D, but particularly people with darker colored skin, because of our melanin content, cannot absorb that much as easily from the sun. So therefore, our skin color needs more vitamin D. Even though we are in the sun country or whatever, we are not outdoors, so therefore not really useful. People with diabetes, high blood pressure, cardiac stroke issues, cancer, kidney failure, all of them. Healthcare workers, most children again are indoors, and old age homes particularly require much, much more. We have gone through how it helps us. We can keep that again for a bit later. And go back to vitamin D metabolism for all the academically inclined. Like I mentioned, vitamin D receptor, which is there in every cell of the body, every nucleus of every cell of the body, is a member of the nuclear receptor, steroid hormone receptor superfamily. We'll leave the technical matter later. Just look at this slide. This is the hormone vitamin D. It attaches to its receptor, goes into the cell and affects mRNA. This is the messenger RNA, and it makes new proteins. So for every 2000 genes are regulated by vitamin D. So by taking that, you not only boost immunity, but you get a host of other things, protection against cancer, depression, and so on and so forth. Just endless why vitamin D should be taken regularly and why your vitamin D level should be monitored. It is said that above the 30th parallel, it is more required. But like I said, even if you are living in a sunny climate, if you are not taking enough precautions to go outdoors with fewer clothes, it is not going to really work out. As said by this statistic over here, 69% of the time we are, or 87% of the time we are spending indoors. Outdoors we are very less. In a vehicle, or even if you're office factory, we are always clothed if you're outdoors. So that is the reason why even in sunny countries, you will have vitamin D deficiency uniformly across the board. I think I'll skip this except for showing one thing, how God has made us so, I mean, given us such beautiful things. This is the sun, obvious sun rays, solar ultraviolet rays, enters the skin in the epidermis, cholesterol is converted to pre-vitamin D3, absorbed in the stream and gone up to the liver. Again, I'm repeating cholesterol. There is a fad to reduce cholesterol. Yes, very high cholesterol is not good, but cholesterol is required for many, many things, including production of vitamin D in the body. And also for brain cells. It is a very important cause of dementia nowadays because of statin administration routinely without any indication. So just a small digression. This is a medical technical slide if anybody wants. We can say, but again, coming back to, it goes to the liver. From there, it goes to the immune system, which makes it active into the active form. So immune system is also an important part of making the vitamin D3 into its active form, 125 hydroxyl form. Kidney also does that. So if anybody who has kidney problems or anybody who has immune problems will have a little bit of difficulty in even processing the vitamin D that is given to them. And therefore they may require direct form, cholecalciferol that is there, which is the direct form, which comes after processing by the kidney and the immune system. This one here. These are the various studies. I think I'll run through them quickly so that people can ask more questions. This is just reading the title. Low plasma vitamin D3 is associated with an increased risk of COVID-19 infection. Here they've done a study which shows almost all the patients with a vitamin D normal level, blue, did not get COVID or was mild. This is talking about hospitalization. And all the patients who were low in vitamin D had severe COVID, needed hospitalizations. This is an interesting graph again. We can see a virtual cutoff between 30, which is supposedly the normal level of vitamin D, actually has gone up to 40, 50, now 50 to 80. And all above that are in the blue. Here they all require hospitalization, but increasingly as your vitamin D goes up, 60 to 80-year-old people barely require any hospitalization, which is really, really amazing. And I think worth implementing totally. So what are the normal levels now? Optimal are now raised to 50 to 70. Deficient is below 30, insufficient is 30 to 50. Optimal is 51 to 70. While you're taking treatment for heart disease or cancer, it can go up to 70 to 100. Above 100 is not good, and one should be cautious not to go there. So if you take vitamin D in the doses I will be informing you, you will be in this zone, 51 to 70, and that is what your target should be. I don't recommend taking vitamin D tests because it is very expensive. But if somebody can afford it, wants to do it, or wants to just be really, split hairs, you can do that. The solution is very simple. Vitamin D test costs 2,500 rupees, whereas the ampule of injection, which of vitamin D costs 50 rupees. So if you would like to, you can do that for sure, but it's much better to go through what protocol I'll be telling you later. So we'll just run through some slides. We will skip this. But again, coming to immunophenotype of COVID-19 and vitamin D deficiency. These are COVID-19 patients parameters where everybody would have gone through IL-6, interleukin-6 increases, tumor necrosis factor increases, IFN, THY, T helper cells, ACE2 expression. So all of these increase in COVID-19, all of these also increase in vitamin D deficiency. So if you want protection over here, you have to stabilize this over here. ACE2 expression, again, down over here, down over here. Coagulability increases with COVID-19, we all know that's why it causes strokes, heart attacks. Vitamin D deficiency also causes the same thing. So one must be very careful here. I had published this last April in American Journal when nobody was thinking of coagulation. We had radiological science. Dr. Zahid Kazi, I'll tell you that later if you like. Very interestingly, so I saw that and I put it out, and fortunately got accepted by the American Journal of Radiology. And coagulation now everybody knows is one of the biggest problems in COVID-19. Another graph which shows with increasing vitamin D level, the positive ratio of SARS-CoV-2 goes down dramatically. These are n number of things. This is just 1 month treatment with COVID-19 to patients in elderly homes. Drops the rate of hospitalization and otherwise just goes completely requiring hospitalization. And this will go on and on. But another study here, which is again a double-blind trial, this was given during hospitalization to COVID-19 patients, not even before, but this is the direct form, calcifediol, not vitamin D3. Over here, you see without calcifediol treatment, 50 out of 50 patients required, out of the 90 patients required ICU, whereas with calcifediol, only 2 required. So even that short period after admission to hospital, when given the direct form, it can make a difference to ICU admissions. It is amazing how vitamin D can protect even at a late stage. But I would recommend start it from the beginning. Don't wait till the end. Don't wait till you're at the border of the ICU. And one more thing, vitamin D status and outcomes for hospitalized patients. This is 105 patients, 65 years plus subjects with COVID type symptoms. SARS-CoV-2 negative, all had 52 vitamin D and above average. Whereas those who were positive, the average was 27, and then that it differentiated further. So again, important to keep your vitamin D level above 50. This again is a study of 52,000 patients matched to 5 lakh control. This was the earliest study I had shown you, but here again, important to see that the fatality with vitamin D being normal is 3% in a hospital admitted group, whereas people with low vitamin D fatality goes to 21%. Such a big difference even in the fatality of the outcome of COVID-19. I think let's go through this last statistic here. Treatment group, those who got treatment of direct vitamin D, cholecalciferol after admission to hospital with COVID-19. And this is the control group here. So the treatment group ICU admission was 5.4%, whereas the control group who did not get vitamin D had 21% ICU admissions. Now this is again given during the hospital, not people who have taken before. People who have taken before for many months, many weeks, whatever, it is a very different story altogether. They will not get COVID or they'll get mild COVID. Very rarely will they require ICU, and by God's grace, no death has been reported so far in all of the people who have taken. So isn't it similar to a vaccine? In fact, vaccine offers you 60 to 80% protection against severe COVID, against death, whereas vitamin D will give you that protection at over 95%, even 98, 99%. So to me, it makes much more sense to take vitamin D. Vaccine is your choice. You may or may not use that. This is just an interesting picture of the bluest lake in the world, Lake Peto, and it remains blue after being frozen. Really interesting. This is again Kudrat ka karishma. How one of the few lakes I've seen which remains blue after being frozen. Amazing. Children's dose is to be tabulated according to age and weight, so we'll leave that aside, give it to people who want. And for all the skeptics who are in the low dose, 500 to 1000 international units per day is not going to increase your level of vitamin D in the blood at all. If you go up to 10,000, it comes up to 40 nanograms, which is good. But this again would be needed to be increased in overweight people. Markedly obese people would need 3 times. Overweight people would need 1.5 times the dose to get to a normal vitamin D level that would be helpful to you. So this all translates into increased mortality in vitamin D deficient COVID-19 patients. As a flexible approach in the current COVID pandemic, the authors of that many studies, in fact, recommend mass administration of vitamin D supplement to the population at risk for COVID-19. I think the first slide, if you remember, that was this lake which was frozen in winter. This is what it looks when all the snow goes away. So having said that, I will request all of you to help spread the message. Like they say, there's this whole Hindi song, Saathi Haath Badhana. Ek akela thak jayega, milkar boj uthana. So if all of you can help me share, spread this message, and it has saved people lakhs and lakhs of rupees of hospitalization, unnecessary care, and not everybody can afford it. We can talk to about vitamin D, but don't forget the other things: masks, how to wear a mask, hand hygiene, social distancing is maybe not required, but physical distancing is required. The difference between social and physical distancing, I've coined the term physical distancing because social distancing, we are social creatures basically. We need to meet people, we need to talk, we need to go out and work, we need to earn a livelihood. But doing that, we have to keep a physical distance as recommended. So if you think about physical distancing, very nice. One more recommendation which I have is keep the footwear outside office and keep it outside home. Don't carry things unnecessarily from office to home and home to office. There are many, many other things which can be done. We will probably have it in the question and answer session. But let's all just send positive vibrations. Whether you want to read the Quran, you want to read any holy scripture, just send positive vibrations for everyone. Maybe they will act as epigenetic modulators and ensure that our bodies fight this virus and up our immune systems to help it do so. Vitamin D is a shortcut, a game changer, the magic bullet we've all been waiting for. And it can penetrate deep into the grave coronavirus pandemic and prove to be the most quintessential remedy for the crisis. It is high time we use it to save mankind from destruction. The cost is very low and it's absolutely, absolutely safe. So finally, one more of my favorite quotes at the end is, I love doing this. People ask why I'm doing that. Is because of this old song that has gone deep into my memory. Of course, we have directions from God Almighty to help others, spread the message of knowledge, spread wealth, spread knowledge. But this is an old one. Kisi ki muskurahat ho pe ho nisar, kisi ka dard mil sake to le udar, kisi ke waaste ho tere dil mein pyar, jeena isi ka naam hai. Thank you for the patient listening, and we'll have a question session now.
Thank you, Dr. Merchant, for your highly engaging and informative session and also giving deep insight on the management of COVID-19. Now this session is open for Q&A. Those who having any question, they can post their question in the chat box. I think already there is one question. Let me take that question first. The question by Zulekha Siddique Madam. She's asking, which is the best vitamin D supplement? I have been advised to take D-Rise even once a week for 8 weeks and thereafter once a month for a year. So what is your opinion, sir, on this?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I don't like to endorse brands, but in this case, where there are only 2 major brands which have about 90% of the market share, which is Uprise and the other is by Abbott. One is by Alkem and Abbott. So you can take your pick, but I recommend a shortcut in that is, if you would like to give it to the community, if you would like to give your friends, relatives, mass distribution, like for all of you all are in important positions, you all can give it to your students, you can motivate that. So the injection vial, which is 6 lakh units, what Zulekha talked about was 60,000 unit capsule. What she's doing is right, but the loading dose, anybody starting from scratch over there has to take a loading dose as per the hammer dose given for flu pandemics in the USA, 3 tablets consecutively. First day, second day, third day, 60,000 units. Please remember it's a fat soluble vitamin. A, D, E, K are fat soluble vitamins. So it requires a little fat for absorption if it is taken orally. So any bread butter, toast butter, ghee khichdi, oil chapati, whatever works for you is okay. Have that so it is absorbed better. If you follow that up by once a week for 2 months, then every fortnight for the rest of your pandemic period. And after the pandemic period, maybe once a month. So that is a pretty elaborate routine. Instead of that, I have talked to both the major manufacturers. They have made snapules from the vials now. You can take a vial and just break it off. If you have some difficulty, you can just cut the neck very slowly with a serrated knife and snap it off, put it in a spoon and drink it up. 6 lakh units you require only once, then followed by once 2 weeks later, and then a month later, and then every 2 months for the rest of your life. So it's much, much simpler. You can distribute it to the poor. It's only 50 rupees in retail. If you buy it in bulk, it is much less. I can help people who want to buy and distribute. Aslam Bhai has done that before. So we can go there also. Again, remember, if you're taking it orally, the injection also, you need a little fat with that. So repeat the bread butter, toast butter, khichdi ghee, oil, whatever. If you're taking it in injection form, you can definitely take it, but it's pretty painful. It's an oil emulsion. So, and you cannot inject everybody. So I request people to use this new path that we have created by Allah's grace, that take the vial, break it, drink it, and you have to take it much less often. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you for answering that. Next question, it is from Professor Zia. He's asking that we'll be highly grateful if we get information on dosage for kids and adults. So I think adult doses you already mentioned. So the kids doses.
Kid dosage, it is as per the slide I'd shown. Okay. So I will write it and send it on WhatsApp to somebody, and then you can share it, because it will get confusing out here without. I can show the slide again, but to save some time, I'll share that details with you on WhatsApp. You can share it with everybody. But kids, you need to be careful. I just like to narrate a story here that vitamin D is so good with so many things. What one particular, there was only one incidence of overdose I remember, and that is one of the friends. He was a court clerk or somebody. I told him his son's problem was solved, some other thing long back. And I was asking him how it is. Very nice, new problems began. And I need to cut it short. I just asked him, what about the vitamin D? He said, oh, really good. We liked it so much. My wife is giving it to my son every day. So now that has to be over. You like something very much, especially the vitamin D nano. It's an oral suspension for drinking for children. It's so tasty, but please do not go overboard with the dosages. I'll share the doses with you. The dose of 6 lakh units ideally can be given to any child above the age of 6 years. Above the age of 6 years, there is no problem. But I would say, if you are having a doubt, give 3 lakhs to the child. But younger children, as per weight and as per age, I'll share the chart with you. Okay, is that okay?
Thank you, sir. That's absolutely okay. Next question, it is asked by two of our participants. It is more or less like similar question by Mudassir Mahadik and Kainas Dastur. So they are asking that what are the symptoms of deficiency of vitamin D? Might be they want to know without testing or without doing any diagnostic test.
That's a very elaborate answer over there. So I'll excuse myself from that. If I tell you anything is related to vitamin D, so you'll start thinking everybody is vitamin D deficient, which is definitely true in that fact. So it's not like anything else. Hypervitaminosis, there are signs to see, but you don't go there if you take the normal dose. So just to save time, do not worry about this. Just take vitamin D. We have done this. In fact, I'll narrate a story. I started this in 2007-8 for tuberculosis. I had become dean for the first time, and I was pretty active on various forums. So a lot of people, Dr. Zahir Kazi will understand, radiologists becoming a dean, a lot of clinical people have problems with that, and then coming up with ideas that vitamin D is good. I was researching things for my TB articles, and I found an article in Lancet which showed that direct relation. The lower your vitamin D level, the higher your chances of TB. So that set me thinking, and we got about doing this. Then I discovered it can be given orally also. A lot of people have problems, a lot of professors. I gave all of them an open challenge. Please do your vitamin D. And if one of you all show me normal vitamin D, I will stop this vitamin D campaign completely. It took me 2 weeks, and some stubborn people went and got, but they all smiled and said, sorry, sir, you're right. So it is, everybody is deficient. Unless you're taking vitamin D, I can go on this for hours and hours. Even if you're the only people who are not deficient in vitamin D in our country are fishermen who go out fishing in the hot sun in their langurs. Anybody else, there was one gentleman who was an elderly person who says, I sit on my terrace every day in my langot. So I smiled and told him, because I knew him. He was a very old, very nice Gujarati gentleman. I said, I'm sorry, but I think you would be reading the newspaper there, right? He said, yeah. So I said, like, that covers your body. So it's that simple. Anybody not in the sun, in his bare clothes for sufficient period of time will not get vitamin D. So please take vitamin D. Generally, don't worry about having sign, no sign. Take it from me. Almost everybody is vitamin D deficient, including doctors, including nurses, including educated people, everybody. Farmers, unfortunately, have a different reason. Although they're in the sun, they don't get nutrition. They cook, make food for us. Unfortunately, they don't get. That's another story altogether. So hope that clarifies your question and the answer is sufficient for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, next question, it is asked by the Jamiluddin Talukadar. There is generic medicine variant of the vitamin D is also available at low cost. So he might be asking, is there any the difference in the efficacy of the generic and branded one?
I have not gone into that, but I think generic, if it is tested by the authorities properly, should be okay. The only thing is, if you're taking the vial orally, taste is up to you. So you can take a generic vial, there's no problem. I'm not here to recommend any brands. Absolutely okay, generic if done properly, but unfortunately there are a few tricky customers here, so I won't get into that, who manage to get their permissions and all by dubious means. So choice is yours, there is no problem. But to repeat, the vial cost between a branded and a generic would hardly be different. So if you're going for the capsule, the price will be different, but for the injection vial, it will be, because the vial itself in retail costs 50 bucks. So if you get something for 30 rupees and 50 rupees, and you don't have to take it that often, so why compromise? Go for the best. The taste, I can assure you, I've tried all of these things, the branded ones. The taste of the Abbott one, Arachidol, is better than the Uprise, but up to you. Whatever you find cheaper, there's no problem. Take whatever you like, but do take vitamin D.
Thank you, sir. I think we'll take last question. Sabha Ishrat Patel asking the question. Looking at the recent scenario, what I observed that people are using vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc as a prophylactic medicine. It's generalized perception that it helps in fighting COVID. How will we come to know that having this multivitamin will not cause problem of hypervitaminosis? Please give your valuable suggestion.
Sure, that's a very good question, and a lot of people think that zinc and vitamin C and vitamin D taken in that low dose helps. No, it doesn't help. Let me be clear here. If you want help from vitamin D, it has to be in the high doses that I'm talking about. You cannot be scared of take a higher dose there. Otherwise, there's no use at all. If your vitamin D, if you want the simplest way, get the vitamin D level measured. If your vitamin D is between 50 and 80, you will not get COVID. You will get only mild COVID, or even if you get COVID, you will not get severe form and you will not require ICU admission. These are proven by double-blinded trials throughout the world now. We had postulated this last March, but fortunately, my instincts were proven true. We had done this for tuberculosis earlier, and it is there now. So you need high dose of vitamin D, not just the small capsule which has vitamin C, zinc, all of that. So that can be supplementary, but it doesn't have any role. Vitamin D has been proven to be protective against COVID. In fact, I've written to world authorities all over the world. Last April, I had written to the UK government based on that. They kept, I think we know Indian bureaucracy now, but I got a chance of British bureaucracy, which they left us, send me around in circles. But fortunately, they established a multi-center trial worldwide, where finally 1.6 million data points were collected from 240 countries. And they came to the same conclusion. Low dose vitamin D, it means you are at risk for severe COVID, not just COVID. Or low vitamin D levels, sorry. If your vitamin D levels are low, you are prone to severe COVID. And that's AI algorithm developed for that, big data analysis of 1.6 million data points worldwide in 240 countries, COVID deaths, where COVID deaths have occurred, which is amazing.
Okay, sir. So I think we are done with the Q&A.
Abu Sufyan, sir, can I ask the last question?
Yes,
if you
sir.
permit?
Please go ahead. Please.
Dr. Merchant, in the current protocols that we are having for ICU patients, where are we with regards to vitamin D supplementation in these treatment protocols? Because something like this and we being so ignorant on it can be disastrous. So what's your insights on this?
Well, actually speaking, this has been tried in the US, not for COVID, but for many other areas where there is ARDS, where septic shock, various things, and it has been seen over there, proven that 4 lakh international units given on admission helps those patients a lot. So what I recommend is that as it is, you can just add 2 and 2 together, right? The
Right.
first part is 96% of patients in ICU with COVID are vitamin D deficient. So why don't you just give them 6 lakh units of vitamin D on admission and repeat this in a week? And you can see the huge benefit it has to saving people. But again, I recommend prevention is better than cure. So do not wait till the last minute to do that. But your question is very relevant. If you already have a patient, please give him vitamin D. I've been trying to convince a lot of people. Unfortunately, what has come into the protocol is the 60,000 tablet, which is really useless when you're already in with COVID in a hospital.
Right. I mean, we have something like tocilizumab. I mean, also with remdesivir, with so much of hype around that. With even WHO is saying it is useless against COVID as such, and there's still so much of emphasis and so much of news about remdesivir use, while something like vitamin D has been ignored. And this is sad state of affairs, I would say. Yes, over to you, Professor Sufyan.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.